doing today? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some news reports of breaches, and we're going to turn them into structured data because the way we get a lot of breach information these days is particularly the public data, and even private data is kind of unstructured text. And while that's fun and interesting and such, it isn't great for a data science perspective. And so it's important to kind of take the breach data that's available and turn it into something structured so that we can then stream it. I'm Gabriel Bassett. I'm a data scientist, and I've been working on this kind of stuff for about 5 years now, something like that. So let's dive in. I'm hoping to get done with about 4. It takes about 15 minutes per. If we get sidetracked, it'll take a little bit longer. And if it's a really standardized one, something really common, it'll go a lot quicker. So let's dive in. So we're doing these for the Varus community database, which is this data set here. It's on GitHub. The schema that we use is here. And these various files, the merged one is the main one. And so the data itself resides in a couple different formats. The source data is JSON and sits in the validated directory. We submit it to the submitted directory, and then from the submitted directory, it gets pulled into a workflow that enriches it and validates it and saves it in invalidated. And each one of these is a single JSON record that represents a breach. Let's see. From there, we also convert it into an R data frame by flattening the hierarchical structure. That's this file here. And we also convert it into a single JSON file. Excuse me. And so that's just a JSON file where the root object is a list, and every object in that list is one of the JSON records for one of the breaches. That's helpful for importing the data into something like Tableau and such. And then finally, we dump it out as a spreadsheet, a CSV file for those that want to work in it in something like Excel. And so there's data for everyone who wants to use it. It's useful for academics as well as people doing security research on public breaches or for making decisions on such data. But we got to get the data. And so we keep all of the breaches that we know about as issues in the GitHub repository. And I have a bunch assigned to me. Let's see. Ooh, I'm getting close. I have 3 left in my assignment. And so I might do 3, and then I might just grab a random one that's assigned to someone else if we have time. Oh, in fact, I have 2 because this is just a schema one. So let's see what this first one is. Internet hacked. So let's look at the link. Let's see. And let's give this a look. They always want to know who I am. It's not important who I am. BSNL, internet hacked, company fixes leak after alert by researcher. So, okay. This is the Bahat Sanchar Nigam Limited. Richard claimed to have gained access to a private database. What are the chances this is just a database that was sitting exposed to the internet? Because it's a researcher, and at least we know their nationality, so we can put that in. Well, but this is going to end up being an error more than likely. So, a telecommunications company has acknowledged and fixed the issue after it was reported Sunday afternoon. So we've got a date. And Elliot Alderson, also the name of fictional blah, 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 gained access by breaking into the system, embedding a malicious code in the BSNL internet application. This helped to source the entire database of employees. So this is actually a really interesting one. And so if they actually dropped malware as part of this, this isn't going to be an error. It's going to end up being a hacking case. also claim that they've been, you've done a really bad job of ransomware if no one recognizes that you've been ransomed. Found that the websites had gone offline. And that would technically be maybe a separate breach, but there's not a lot of information. The researcher said he researched me via Twitter through his handle, discussed a member of the team, acknowledged the issue, and fixed them. So we may actually be able to find some interesting information by looking up this Twitter handle and seeing what exactly they did to get in. Because I'm curious about whether they broke in with something, did they find like a SQL injection? Did they find like a local file inclusion or something that let them read the database? It's not really clear what exactly happened. Found this issue a few days ago, but I'm not the first one to discover the issue. Probably a local file inclusion of some type if they were able to run malware. So let's see. Took a big risk and wrote them thinking they would probably respond. Vain, making responsible disclosure in cases like this. Protection Committee constituted under the Chairman of Justice. Let's see this. So this is an interesting one. I don't know. I'm actually... Yeah, see, from a hacking perspective... by the way, hey man. Normally, this is something we don't run into a lot because we almost never, if a... I guess, I think I'm going to code it as hacking. And if the idea is that someone else had found this first... I'm not going to count the French researcher as hacking because normally if you have something like a responsible disclosure, we don't count that as a breach because, the researcher and the company are working together. But if the concern is that this has been taken advantage of before, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is the researcher was actually the discoverer. In this case. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to open another window separately. See where this pops up. And we'll look at Twitter and see if we can look up this Twitter handle. To see what this person potentially, if he disclosed anything. Let's see. This, and then the name of the company, maybe. Let's see. I guess we could use that. Okay. Full years. Okay. Okay. Maybe do these in temporal order and go down to the bottom. Is there? No, that's not going to help at all. Use top. Okay, I found 2 hacked subdomains. Please don't do that. If you're skilled enough to deface websites, it's awesome, but please don't do it. Alert the concerned owners. Okay. In full story on the hack. So let's open this Medium part, which maybe is a little better story. Okay, recently widely discovered. It tries to portray the entire story instead of pieces reported by the media. Oh, well, that's actually exactly what we need. Okay, February 2016. So this is an older one. I was a third-party engineer. I was preparing for a hacking competition with a friend, and I came across a vulnerability in the website. Exploiting this, get the internal intranet database. Okay. Ah, good. It's a blind SQL injection. Simple vulnerability, yada, yada, yada. On the other hand, the database is being leaked. On the other hand, the data that is being leaked is of high value. What I do, shocked. Irrespective of how much I went with the decision to report it. Attempt 1, about us. Attempt 2, The email IDs. By the way, is this article over here? Was this just as old? See, this is from 2018 and 2018 here. And so, but it looks like this, when did these tweets happen? This happened in 2018, but the discussion happened, seems the Blaine sequel discussion happened in 2016. Tweeted to Prime Minister around the time his Twitter handle was very active and I hoped I might reply. Hail the director. Okay. So lots of work in the discussion. What is seen at Hack in Real Time? An Indian government website reported the vulnerability a year back. So he reports the vulnerability in 2016. And then what's happening here? You guys left the JMX console. Hey, it's JBoss. Who would have guessed? Left the. So this is a different issue then. This isn't the blind SQL injection. If it's just an open console. There are a lot of articles web related to JBoss that there are. And in 2016, he's watching it happen. Indians fall in a lot of fields. Recent writings draw your attention towards current state of frustrating. I found several writings in the Indian government websites and other government sectors. Like, okay, this is only. Okay, so this feels like a lot of stuff. He replies asking me to contact CERT. Now we're up to 2018. This is. I'm having trouble following. This is a single case. Try the feature, okay. So he fills out the vulnerability form. 4 months after finding the vulnerability, I had no hope left to be fixed. 1 year after that, I got a responsible disclosure policy started in my college. Now 2 years after finding it, I'm successfully trying to report the vulnerability. Oh, this person found it again and reported it. To his initial tweet in which he said that he found some vulnerabilities, I got curious and commented. He said 1.5 years ago. To know the same vulnerability that he found now. Showed some screenshots. A few days ago, but not the first one to discover the issue. This issue was discovered by a fellow Indian 2 years ago. Then the issue finally gets fixed. Comment. Cell fixed a particular issue that came notice of media, but as far as it been made, they haven't had any measures to fix the root cause. Neither are they paid to heed. This is an isolated case for countless other people like me. Okay. So my gut on this one is there's probably two issues. There's the ransomware sites, the defaced sites. They're probably related to the JBoss vulnerability. And then, but that's not really a breach. And then there's the blind SQL injection that would be a breach, except it seems as if it was discovered twice, once in 2016 and once in 2018, and then disclosed, but disclosed both times to the organization by people who, you know, were really intently trying to do things better. So my gut says I'd like to be able to do the I don't think that was ransomware on those two sites. I kind of want to do the two defaced websites, which I assume are related to the JBoss vulnerability. But let's see if we can figure out enough to trace that back. Okay. See, where do we see the references to the? Here we are. So these are skilled web or defaced websites. Oh, but I guess here he says he's watched someone exploiting the vulnerability, right? Something about the JBoss console, witnessing, attack in real time. I guess we could open that up. Oh, that did not go anywhere. Can I see a specific tweet? Okay. CMD, hidden, mop, function. Oh, I shouldn't have to read command line arguments to understand this, to get this freaking breach coded. dcommand.jsp comment PowerShell. So this is someone running PowerShell, which is a completely different thing, right? Seems like... Okay, so what I get from this is that this website was just horribly insecure. A bunch of people, both malicious and benign, had their way with it. And it's really unclear how to pull any of these out as individual cases. I'm going to save some of this stuff, and I'm not going to code this until we figure out a better way to do it. So we'll put some notes in here. This case dates back to potentially 2016. A previous researcher. Yeah, I know. Technically, I think that closing them, hopefully I get credit for closing them, even if it isn't. And that's the problem, is I'm not actually going to close it. I'm just going to put some notes here. And I do want to mark it as probably needs more information. Needs details. Previous researcher discovered the vulnerability. And actually we'll copy this article here. It's likely they were breached multiple times, including by line SQL injection. JBoss authenticated JBoss console. Then is this JBoss ZEC command or ZE command? Let's find out. Yep. So that's the JBoss. Someone explained the JBoss console. And I mean, actually, we have timestamps. So we know someone ran commands. Do we know really what the commands were? We don't know we know the asset was a web app. We know the actor is external. We don't know their motive. We know the victim. We know a little bit about the action. But we don't know the attribute compromised without going and decoding some of these JBoss commands, or some of these PowerShell commands. Does this really add? No, I mean, this is grasping at straws to code an entire incident basically from a single screenshot of some logs. That's not putting good data into our data set. So let's note these. And then where was the one with this one? this in here. So I think, let's see, it's possible it could be coded based solely on the JBoss exploit screenshot, but that's pretty thin thread to pull. Okay, I'm gonna comment, and that one needs detail, shouldn't get picked up and reassigned. I'm going to unassign myself from it though. And actually I need to go back to my issues. Here, just search. And I need to unassign myself from these other ones that need detail. So remove that. And then this one, remove that. These are really not my responsibility anymore. That should leave us maybe 2. Oh, come on. Yeah, maybe I didn't get them cleared. Just clear all assignees. Here. Clear all assignees, and then go back to my issues and see what we got now. So we've got 2 random assignments. Jeopardy champ accused of hacking emails. I don't know why this, like, is that exciting? I don't know. Champion Jazz accused of hacking emails. Newly released from the news release from the Michigan State Police Cyber Command Center. Okay, says it began an investigation after being contacted by staff at Adrian College, a woman who made history on the Jeopardy television show in 2017 apparently, has been charged with accessing coworkers' email accounts. Arraigned Tuesday on 2 felony accounts, one of authorized access to a computer and a network. Okay, so what did she do here? Been contacted who alleged Jazz may have accessed several college accounts without authorization. And how did she do that? Did she have the credentials? Did she? Probably, but it depends if she like stole the credentials, like, or had them legitimately, or you know how she actually got the access as to whether it was an internal hacking action or an internal misuse. Well, she is adequately tangentially. She is acquainted tangentially with Jash. Performed at the Opera House. She said she would also connection with her care education. Okay. That was okay with her presiding over the case. Just gained fame when okay. Doesn't say. Like that's not helpful. Let's see if we can find this again. Jas Michigan hack. Okay. Happens. So she pled guilty. As part of a plea deal, 1 year on probation, pay restitution for what? It's a big deal on campus, especially with faculty. Longtime member at the same time. So for him, was contacted me, sidebox saying, regardless of how I feel about the professor, what happened to you was dead wrong. I'm confused. Everyone on staff have had on campus said Jeff Docking Adrian's president. In an interview, Jas was a longtime faculty member, sometimes with a respected official. Combines to make people very surprised she would pull this. At the time, doctors said everyone, the staff, students, community have had just about enough. Their privacy being invaded with credit cards stolen, emails, and personal attacks, so I don't see great sentiment to support this on campus. He added, faculty members have contacted me. Regardless of how I feel about this professor, what happened to you was dead. What happened to him? Dude, I'm confused about what happened to the president. Did I merely respond to requests? April, was she accused of accessing email? Docker says the hack happened after a breakdown of the campus email system where account holders were asked to change their passwords immediately to get this is because Doc was at a conference. He said his assistant refrained from resetting the password right away for fear of locking him out of the account. Regardless of the circumstances, he said, if you accidentally leave your front door open, it doesn't give someone the right to walk in and steal what they want. Okay, so see, this, it doesn't sound like misuse. Like, it doesn't sound like she had access. It sounds like maybe she reset people's passwords. Yeah, it's going to be some hacking action. Your front door open, it doesn't give people the right to walk in and steal what they want. She still stole my identity to log in. Jess didn't read the emails but download thousands containing both personal and professional. Then the vice president and dean of academic were impacted, as were others. You know, that was probably her mistake. Found out about the hack after Jess shared some of what she'd read with another colleague who recognized the potential crime. She's removed from the classroom and her life was ruined. Addition, confidential. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say the second thing. I think we have maybe enough to go with. So let's give it a start. Yes, GitHub number 1064. Reference. Just one random article. Summary. Teacher uses password reset to read colleagues' emails. Emails. That's where that all goes. Then confidence. I mean, pretty decent. So now we get to look at the timeline. What happened when? Jess gained fame in 2012 and she set the record for longest waiting streak. That's not what I need to know. Oh, no, this was the other. This was the one that had the additional information. So we'll put this one in here. And really, when I find additional references, I should be putting them back into the GitHub record. So Docker said, addition to the vice president, regardless of circumstances, took between wife and children, not available. She was at home when she accessed an email account that wasn't her. Has said she was at home in April. Break down the campus system. Account holders were asked to change the password. So April of 2017, which means this does not go into the 2020 report or the 2020 record. It goes into 2018. And it will still be in the 2020 report, but when we talk about what happened this year, it will not be in that set. That's without permission. Call reset passwords, everyone. The same tip rate. Oh. Oh, geez. Yeah. Thanks for the reference. I'll copy and add that as well. That's going to be abused misconfiguration. And that is embarrassing. Okay. So timeline, we'll go do the action since we've been talking about that. Goes down the victim, action, hacking. Well, so the question is, it a misconfiguration or is it use of stolen credentials? Yeah, well, not functionality, because I don't know about functionality. That wouldn't be how we would normally code it. Yeah, and this is one of the things that we've debated before, is when you are given credentials, or you end up with credentials in some legitimate way, but you shouldn't be using them. Notionally what's happening on the back end. And in fact, we actually, there is a coding issue. Traditionally, what we've done is we've used use of stolen credentials, but I think, my perspective is that it makes sense to use misconfiguration or exploitation of a misconfiguration, because notionally, abusive functionality is for when the system is functioning as it's intended. And I would say it's I guess you could make the argument that that they intended for it to function this way, and they just kind of relied on everyone to do it, to not steal each other's passwords. Okay, I'll give you abusive functionality. Use because she didn't steal anything. She kind of stole the credentials, like the usernames, but I mean, that's not really kind of what describes. And there was no misconfiguration as the school wanted password reset to work this way. I'm going to put a few more notes up here into the description. Sending a single temporary password to everyone to update passwords. What a terrible idea. Yeah. I love that description. Honor code security. We need to figure out a way to incorporate that into it. And so email. So they don't really say what so they say she downloaded it. So she probably, it makes me think that maybe it was an email server, not a web server. Backdoor, command shell, desktop sharing. Not really it's not a web. I don't think it was the web application. I get the feeling it was just like Outlook, and she just kind of set up a bunch of Outlook accounts or such. Because it says she downloaded all the emails, and to download thousands of emails, you don't normally do that through a web app. Wasn't desktop or desktop sharing or command control or shell or anything. So I think that's fair. So let's see. Let's see. Let's close that down and we'll go back up to the top. Timeline, I think we decided 2017 in May. They discovered it when she showed it to a colleague, basically. So how long did it take her to compromise? It sounds like she did it over maybe some days. Exfiltration happened in minutes, basically seconds. As soon as she had access, she was able to access the data. It probably took her hours at most. I'm going to change that for days. I think she did it for days. Discovery happened. So let's see. shared some of. He found out after some of what she'd read with another colleague employee who recognized it. We don't really know about discovery or containment. Let's leave it at that. Victim. We get to look up a bunch about this college. Let's see. What was the... Wait, which college was this again? Adrian College. That's why I keep missing it. Keep thinking it's a name. So let's see. Adrian College. Students, academic staff, 86. I'm going to say if they have 86 academic staff, they have over 100, but less than 1,000. I know, that's why I kept saying, like, that can't be right. Oh, and we need to go to Far Smarter Bids to go and figure out the Nix code. I thought I opened up the Nix code here already. Maybe not. So this would be education, and then higher education, colleges and universities. There we are. Locations affected: 1, country, United States. Region, North America. State, Michigan. I did get Michigan right, didn't I? I did. No real secondary victims. So that's taken care of. Action we did, actor. This is an interesting internal. Manager, auditor, call center employee, cashier, developer, doctor, end user, regular employee, really. Motivation, fun. Yeah, which you don't see a lot. Like, this is kind of an interesting breach, actually. Job change. Any personal issues? Nothing. In fact, we just shouldn't code this. Oh, I think it's... There we go. Yeah, but for it to be a grudge, there needs to be some indication that she did it for out of kind of malice. I guess it said something about she kept a list, right? Yeah, grudges. So we coded a grudge incident last week, and it was where the mother of a gang member who worked for the Department of Justice used her access to go and get the videos of like the whoever informing on her son and post them on YouTube. And so that's a grudge. It's a personal offense. In this case, like, it just sounds like she did it she had access and she was curious. And so I don't think that is... I don't think that this is a grudge. I think this is just curiosity. Because she talked to someone about it. She was talking about facts. Let's see. Blew the whistle on Jazz. Told police she believed Jazz was downloading emails to gain leverage over others. Yeah. You know, I think it's one of those, you know, she wanted to know other people's business type thing. That's kind of the way I read it. Less about, yeah. So, okay, so actor, asset, this will be one email server. Server, not web app, server mail. One of those. We don't know the operating system. We don't know cloud because it could be anything. We really don't know where it's located. They brought the case in Michigan. So you'd assume... Well, if they brought the case in Michigan, I mean, That's probably where they would have had to have, the crime would have had to have been committed, right? But the location really doesn't matter a whole lot. Attribute, confidentiality. Yes, data total. They don't say, but the variety was, I'm going to say cache email is really internal. I should remember better where email goes. I think it just falls under internal data. This kind of company type data. Let's see, does it say in the Varus repo where it would fall? Let's go and, so I thought that it was clarified. Actually, you know what would be the best thing would be to go and look at up on Varus community. So, because I think that we go into detail there. So this is a good example of how to go and find things. So incident description, attributes, confidentiality, and data varieties. Let's see if we say email anywhere in here. Yeah, internal. And I should copy these descriptions over so that they're available in the web app. So internal data, the victim or other employees, victims. It was stored, really stored unencrypted. Abused, yeah, because I mean she used the data to, you know, for her intended goal. I did fill in data total, didn't I? Oh yeah, because we don't know data total. We knew assets targeted. No, this was very opportunistic because she didn't know what was going on. Internal has employee reported something, but can discovered by employee. Value chain, no development. Impact. I don't know. They took her to court, but let's be honest, they didn't lose anything. This was a random assignment. Value chain action hacking by an internal actor on a server that do a compromise of confidentiality. Mark that was validated. Okay, and then I forgot to prep a window to save this to. So if I can find any of them, I can do that now. Let's do the product. File, new file. And we'll save this out. Hey, and it only took us 45 minutes to get through the first one. We're just blazing ahead here, aren't we? Let's close this. And go to the next one. And I actually have a hard stop at 10, I think. Where's that 11? I have a meeting coming up, but I don't remember if it immediately follows this meeting, or I have an hour in between. Let's take a look. I should have a little time in between. Okay. So what was the other one I had on my list? Got the Jeopardy challenge. Justice Ministry looks into private breach. Okay. Let's see what this is. This does not sound as exciting as the last one. Close these things down. Justice Ministry looking into privacy breach case at Vonda SGI issuer. I don't know what most of those words are referring to. Sketch ones. Justice Ministry is investigating a privacy breach in which an employee at a private SGI license insurer. What is an SGI license? I am not familiar with this. Oh, okay, it's the driver's license. Good to know. Wait, what? a private driver's license issuer. Does Canada use private companies to issue driver's licenses? Employee at a private issuer access information on thousands of people. Okay, so this is kind of a normal, fun, and this probably is a misused one. Report from the province's privacy commissioner stated that breach involved an employee at hometown insurance brokers in the community located driver's license. Okay, about 50 kilometers. Employee admitted to SGI. Accessing private information, personal information, without authorization since 1995. So discovery on this one is literally 20 years. So we always say that the internal ones are the longest to discover. Wow. Okay. The exact number of people affected still not clear because he's been doing it for 20 years. More than 14 were accessed in 1 year. Breaches we've encountered. SAR first notified customers of the breach and sent media release. Incident in late July. Agency passed information. Okay. Is Vonda a area of Canada? It said in Vonda, Saskatchewan. Town was named after the daughter of British journalist Cy Warren. It's a home, so I assume it's just a little city. They have a picture of their church. This does not look like a large city to me. It's kind of now granted, I like these kinds of cities. Like this is my kind of hometown type place. That is not a big city. What is the population? 322. Not bad. Probably bigger than the little city I live in. So, okay, let's give this one a shot. It's kind of fun. Just for the length. So they discovered this in 2016, which means this should be 2017. Yes, GitHub number 8,000 something. So this is kind of a back issue one. And here, license employee looking up PII for 20 years. Okay, confidence, pretty straightforward. Timeline. Incident, 1995. You know, this is the problem. I'm going to put this in here, and at some point I'm going to be looking back through the VCDB data, and I'm going to be like, nah, 1995, that can't possibly be a legitimate breach. Compromise, he had access, so there wasn't any exfiltration happened in minutes because he just had to look at it. Discovery, unit, years. Value, 21. Containment, months? I don't know. I don't know how long. Notification, none. The victim, I'm just gonna say SCI. Which stands for, oh, this is an insurance company. So SGI Canada. Let's see, SGI Canada. Let's look them up on LinkedIn. Trying to say let's mate 1,000 to 1,500. They only have 300 on LinkedIn, but that's notoriously low. So let's do this. SGI Canada Insurance. Employee count 1,000 to 10,000. Industry. I don't know. Let's see, do they SGI Canada mix code 524126. We'll start with that, but then I don't know if I like that. Well, here we'll find it. 52426. Direct property and casualty insurance. Oh, nope, that sounds about right. Locations affected 1. Canada, region, North America. And then state. So what was the... We found the city, so what was the state? Yeah, I know. Like, that actually would be tempted to add decade. In fact, you should do that. Put an issue into Varus. Put it in the Varus repo, but rather than the VCDB one. But put an issue in for adding a decade enumeration, just for the fun of it. And by the way, you'll notice that when you look through Varus, there are a few that are added in there not because they occur a lot, but because they just amused us. They don't get coded a whole lot, but there's a few of them in there, just for fun. So let's see, province, I guess Saskatchewan is really what we're looking for. If we go look here in Canada, nope, not here, here in Canada. Find Saskatchewan is SK. Put that in here. Secondary victims, not really. Actions. This is misuse and privilege abuse on the network, and really to exfiltrate data. Actor, internal, employee. I mean, it doesn't say that the employee was anything in particular, right? Oh, did I actually put the link in there? Did I get the reference put in up here? I did. The employee, employee, it just says employee. Okay, so it's SGI license. Well, I don't know. Okay, motive. This sounds like fun as well. I mean, you could not possibly have been looking up 1,400 people for malice. Yeah, no malicious intent, no desire to share, no personal gain. Just a bored dude in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Asset, total assets. I mean, just one server, really. I don't know what kind of server, but just kind of look stuff up. Don't really know the rest. Attribute, confidentiality, data disclosed. Yes. Data total, and we know it's in the thousands because we know he was looking up 1,500 a year, but do we really want to extrapolate that out for the entire time period? I mean, we could say, what, 30,000 something? Yeah, assuming that he kind of possibly kept up 14,000 per year. I mean, how many is that per day? Right? Let's see, he works, what is it, 200 days or a year or something is kind of a work year, or 250 days a year. So to get 1,400 a year, you'd have to be looking up, what, 5 a day, like on average? I don't know. Say personal information. I don't think there was anything in here. Excuse me, more detailed. Was there? Birth dates, customer numbers, names, addresses, photos, email. Yeah, that's just all personal information. This is customer information. Notes. 14, 1 year, but okay. Data abuse? No, he really didn't abuse it. Credit monitoring? No. None of the other stuff. Targeted? Definitely opportunistic. He had access and he made use of it. Did they say how it was discovered? Hey, external number. First notify the breach and sent media release incident in late June. So actually we know the notification. We can put that in here. 2016 June. And then does it say July, excuse me. Release data broker had no motion. Well, that didn't help. July. We still don't know how they discovered it. So the investigation after the program was released in September, the commissioner recommended passing the case to prosecutors. Rigorous in terms of training who gets audit procedures. Driver license. It sounds like it was internal detection. Like, say notified and they notified law enforcement. So I'm going to say internal but unknown. Value chain, he just had access. Impact. And again, this is insignificant impact, right? Like, the company had to deal with some legal stuff, but nothing particularly onerous. This is a random assignment. The event chain, again, is going to be pretty straightforward. Misuse by an internal actor using a server to compromise confidentiality. And that one is done. So we'll create another issue. Put in here. And we've got that one knocked off. Let's return. And what's it, 9:59? I said I was going to do 3. Let's make sure we close this one. So I kind of feel like doing a third one, even if I don't have any assigned to me. So I'll clear the assignee. And I'm going to take one that's assigned to, let's see, we'll take one that's assigned to Alex. He's been busy with some other things, so we will grab one of his. We'll grab a priority one here. Grab the moviepass one. So open up our references here. moviepass ticket. It's exposed tens of thousands of credit cards because critical servers are not protected with a password. So blah blah blah, database, 16 million records, real time, written in real time. Your researcher and found an exposed database. Okay, so this is going to be an error, internet facing. This was this year, right? Yeah, it goes in the 2020 report. Confirmed, GitHub number 13935. Put our references in. Yoink. Plunk. And there was a third reference, right? Yeah. No, do not want notifications. There we go. Internet exposed database. Okay. Confidence, this has been pretty widely reported. So we have a date. More than 50 contain credit card and the number is growing by the minute. August 21st. Bunch of quotes from people doing hot takes. I like that you can now write a news article with like one paragraph of content in just people's LinkedIn hot takes. Not that it is a problem commenting on them, but I feel that that's not necessarily the pinnacle of journalism, to use other people's content. Managed to end up getting the account numbers. Okay, so when did this happen? That's all I want to know. Security researcher found an exposed database. And everyone knew about it. Okay, well, this report August 20th. We'll say August this year, 2019. Come on. 2019, August. We'll skip the day. It's not a big deal. Compromise. Exfiltration. Took minutes. Compromise, they just had to find it. It wasn't password protected. Discovery. Assume hours to disclose it. Containment. Unknown, because it was apparently still going a day or two later. Victim. MoviePass. I assume they have a Wikipedia article. But no information on employees, so we'll go over here and we'll check. 50 to 200 employees. They've got 30 on LinkedIn. I don't know. They could be in the 50 to 100 range, you know, without having too many issues. But also, you know, this just massively understates employees sometimes. Yeah. I think they probably have under 100 employees, particularly considering that they aren't exactly growing super fast. I wonder what their NICS code is. Service 4833. No, that's their SIC code. Let's see if there's anything in here. 453 454, maybe. Yep. See, 45's be down here. 453. Miscellaneous mobile home retailers. I don't think that's it. SIC code, NICS listing. They just did the translation from SIC code. 4833 television broadcast stations. That doesn't sound right. Well, let's look at around the 48s and see if we can find anything. 48 support navigation and wait. 4833 was the SIC code. NICS. Trying engagement funding 78. Tape television program which are classified in services. See, I think that they're actually more of a service organization, right? Because they provide, well, I guess retail and trade. So they sell access to theaters. Oh, what would theater be? Motion picture theaters. I don't know. I think motion picture and video exhibition is probably closest, even though they're a reseller. Locations affected one. They're a United States company. Yeah, I know. Like, some of the websites we have to go to run these things, to code these, you know, do not do great things with our web filter. What state? New York? US, Illinois. Secondary victims. action, error, misconfiguration, known. So we're going to do this one similar to the last one we did on Varus. Where is? If we go back over to Varus, we can the Varus repo. If we look at the issues and we look for the coding style related to exposed discovery of cloud storage, this is going to be the same thing where it's a database that was misconfigured. So here again, misconfiguration unknown. Our actor is external and is an unaffiliated person who discovered it. There was no motive. Could say where the Dubai. I am not sure what the Alpha 2, the 1366 Alpha 2 for Dubai is. But now I want to know. Dubai. Let's see. UAE, I guess. What's UAE? Oh, no, wrong phone. So it's AE. AE. Region, that should be Middle East. Which is actually West Asia. Subdivisions, 7 Emirates. Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Dubai is its own subdivision, I guess. So what's the Alpha 2 for it? Just what I was looking for in the first place. DU. See, this is also a geography lesson. Oh, but we don't have a region for actor, or excuse me, for no. Oh, and this shouldn't be. This is not right. This is discovery method. Discovery is by external, unrelated third party. The actor is the person who made the mistake, and so the actor is actually internal. So we gotta remove these. Yeah, let's delete this to make sure it gets removed. So yeah. This was a system admin, motive, not applicable. Then the asset was one database. So go database, one. Let's see if we have any information on what the database was. Nothing really there. This one wasn't helpful, was it? What was the moviepass database? There's a ton of records. I stumble, left a database. So MongoDB, like that's always a good guess in these cases. Doesn't say there. Let's see. Come on. Records, financial, plaintext database. It wasn't. Tuesday. Scrolling. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, this is a different one. So we'll skip that. Maybe we don't know that. We don't know the operating system. We don't know the database. We would assume maybe that it's a cloud database, but again, it's hard to say. Targeted, and this is opportunistic. Attribute confidentiality. Was data disclosed? Yes, because a bunch of people looked at the credit cards. See, 1 million records is the total, and so some of that is actually credit card data and some is not. Records were normal computer generated login messages. So this is going to be internal data, but there's also, what was it, 58,000 credit cards, so payment. So this is one where the data overlaps, and so the total records is not the sum of the two. Oh, and the data was customer data. It was not abused. And we know it was stored unencrypted because we were looking at the database. We filled in the discovery method. Value chain really doesn't apply because it was an error. Healthy, a whole lot of impact. They disclosed it in life went on. This was a priority assignment because this was a big news article. And this was a error by an internal actor on a server led to a breach of confidentiality. And validate that one. There we go. Just like that. We have 3 incidents done. A little behind due to that first one and due to the complexities of the second one. But we've coded 3 more incidents. That gives me about, I think I did 4 and then 3 and then 3. So I've got about 10 for the week. I averaged slightly less from the rest of the team because of some of the other things I do. Yeah. Average is good when you need sensitivity towards the sensitivity of the number. So unless you, and because I don't have a lot of outliers, like I normally code about the same amount, assuming that it's not a week that I don't do anything, I can use the average. So I think it makes more sense than using the median number that I code in this case. Though the reality is, like, and this is one of those things that you kind of find out as you look at security data. Basically all security data is long-tailed. Almost everything you look at will be long-tailed, will have a lot of one thing and a lot of small things and a few big things. And so, you know, I really do end up using median in almost all the analysis we do in the data. In fact, on my to-do list is to go build a MC model of a linear regression, or of a linear model that approximates the Wilcox test, because I need something that approximates confidence or credible intervals for long-tail data for use in our confidence-based analysis for our fact-checking. So when we have a long-tail distribution of data and we say the median was X, we want to have a good Bayesian test that we can run against that. So that is on my to-do list for today or tomorrow, depending on when I finish getting the proj package for R to compile against the most current library. So I have other things to do, and so thank you for coming and hanging out. Hopefully this has been entertaining and educational, and hopefully it gives you an opportunity to kind of work on coding incidents in your case, because you know, if I can do these for our organization, you can do them for yours, and you can derive knowledge about what's happening in your environment. So thank you very much. I'll see you all next week.